Hey everyone, we're here with some coaches from Arizona, and we are living differently on purpose, living our OOLA life. We have some special coaches tonight who are going to actually share their story with you about why OOLA is so important to them and how it has absolutely changed their lives. So, our first coach tonight is Colette Smith Pickard, and she is going to give us her OOLA story. Colette's a teacher, and I am really excited to hear all about it, Colette. So, share it with us.
Well, ULA started for me back in about 2017. I was introduced to them right around the time their second book, ULA for Women, came out. I was introduced by a dear friend of mine who had seen the guys at an event. I was not at that particular event, but she came and, like friends do, told me all about it and how great it was. So I started following the guys. And later on in the year, when the book did come out, we went down to Barnes and Noble in Scottsdale, and I'm so glad we got to meet them in that particular way rather than at that big, large event, because it was way more intimate and you really got a feel for how the guys are. I mean, truly how they are on camera is how they are in person. They truly care about you, and it was a very fun event. So I basically, went to the event with her at Barnes and Noble to get our book signed. I hadn't even read the book yet. I'd been following the guys for a little bit, but just seeing that bus for the first time, I don't think I'll ever forget that, because you see this cool bus that has all these stickers on it. And then once you start seeing how much all the dreams that people have on that bus and all the hope that there is out there, you want nothing more than for all of those people to reach all of their dreams and their goals that are on there. So it's truly magical to see the bus in person. And basically after that, I was really kind of hooked. I mean, I went and read the book, and I will be honest, I didn't do a whole lot with the book right after, but it really started to click a little bit more of listening to what they were saying, trying to just take little nuggets of all the things that they shared on their Facebook lives, and I could never catch them live. Another friend of mine, we had gone on a trip probably like a week or so before International ULA Day. We went up to Sedona, and we saw a psychic up there. And that particular psychic said that she kept repeating, life coach, you need to be a life coach. All I keep seeing is life coach everywhere. So I came home and researched what a life coach was, because at the time I had no idea what it was or what that even entailed. I was like, I've never even thought of myself of anything but a teacher and a mom. And I researched it and got information on several different places that offered life coach programs, was ready to spend a lot of money. And guess what? I caught the International ULA Day Facebook Live that the guys did on that day when they announced that they were rolling out a ULA certified life coach program, and nobody was here, and I was all by myself, and I immediately came in here, signed up, didn't tell anybody what I was doing until after I'd already done it. And that's probably when my true obsession with the guys really started to come forward, and I watched everything and listened to everything they were doing, and I immediately fell in love with the program. And once I went through and got my certification in November, I took a year to really live the life I was going to share with other people on how to get there and how to get to their ULA life. And here we are. Man, it's been a year and a half, 2 years almost, and I could not have a better group of support around me. I've met amazing people, including all of these people and more that are on this screen. But I know that somewhere out there, one of these Facebook Lives we do is going to be one of those moments for somebody else. And that's the coolest part, is to know that, you know, this is an amazing thing. And once it finally clicks and it's finally there, everybody has a different story and everybody has a different purpose. And so, like, I would have never imagined my life to be here where I am right now 2 years ago, ever. Like, I would have never thought. So I'm excited to hear what stories 5 years from now, 2 years from now, you guys will all share about how maybe a Facebook Live we do has totally changed your lives, because they're all different. We're all unique individuals. We all have our own stories and our own purposes. And so that is basically how Oola totally changed me and gave me all of the confidence and a newfound purpose within my teaching career. So Rob is going to share his story next. So go ahead, Rob.
Take it away,
Hey,
Rob.
thank you so much, Colette, for sharing your story with us. It's always fun to rehear our stories over and over, just to always know and always hear something new each and every time. So my name is Rob Cohen, and I'm here in Gilbert, Arizona. I'm excited to be here. So my Oola story, I kind of heard about Oola through another company, through an essential oil company. I started hearing about Oola in, I don't know, 2017, I think. But I heard about it. They were at the convention, and there were some essential oils, but I didn't really know what Oola was, and just really kind of heard through word of mouth what it was, but I never looked into it. But year after year, I saw the guys, and I started following them a little bit more in 2000. So end of 2018, is when we moved to Arizona from California. And it was in, January of 2019, a friend of mine said, hey, I know you're new in town. There's a really cool event called Ignite, and you might want to go, because it was related to the essential oils. So I'm like, okay, cool. So when I went there, the Oola guys were there, and the bus was there, and they had a booth, and they had a table, and they were selling a bunch of stuff. But I was intrigued by the bus. I really got to see it get a close up, and the stickers, and I had never really experienced that before in a smaller venue. Also, I'd never heard the guys speak before. So I was super excited to hear them speak. So that was the first time I heard them speak, and it was the first time that I put dreams on that bus, which I've now done many, many times. April of that year, I was at a different event in Minnesota, and the guys were there, and the bus was there. And so I got to hear them speak more and a little bit more in depth at that event. And also I got to experience them at a smaller event within the event that only had about 150 people. And we had the opportunity to go up and ask a panel of people questions. And Dave and Troy were the two of the people that were on that panel. I remember what I asked them, but I don't remember what they said, because I kind of went out of body because I was so nervous in front of all these people to even talk. So then I started following them more. I started following them on social media more, got the book, but kind of didn't do anything with it. But what I really loved and what attracted me was their positivity, and their encouragement and their love, and just really what I felt like was a common sense approach to life, having goals, going for your dreams, and being realistic about things are going to get your way. There are going to be things called blockers, and there are strategies that you can use. So it just, to me, was very common sense. In July, like Colette said, on International Oola Day, I heard them announce that you could become a life coach. And I just thought, and I remember sitting there thinking, well, I could never do that. Who would hire me as a coach? And that was legit, honest, that conversation that I had with myself that day. So I dismissed it. It wasn't too long after that I was at the convention, and they were there at vendor booths, and I thought, I got to talk to these guys. So literally, as I drove into Salt Lake City, I parked my car, and I got over there as quickly as I could. I'm like, I have to talk to Dave and Troy. Because at that point, I had never read the book, and I didn't even know if they had let me be a coach, because I really didn't know a lot about Oola. Anyway, long story short, they remembered me from the event in Minnesota, and they encouraged me, like, sure, you can. We want people like you with a big heart. So that was the day that I signed up, and that was the day that my life in Oola really, really began. And then going through the certification, which is going through the course for yourself, which has been a big part of my journey. And then also December that year, I had the opportunity in 2019 to go to OolaPalooza, which was very cool and a very different experience. Even though we got to experience a lot going through the certification course, being there in person and being immersed in that environment for 2 days, and hearing the guys, hearing the stories, talking to other people, was just mind-blowing and amazing. And it was there that I really started to think differently. It was there I started to really examine some of the things in my life that I knew that I needed to change. One of those things, as we sat there and wrote goals, and I've talked about this before, but one of the things was losing weight. And I had always had a battle for most of my adult life with gaining and losing a lot of weight. And even when I wrote the goal to lose the weight, I had no idea how I was going to get there. But I knew that we had tools. I knew that I could do it. I started that journey in January of 2020, and that's a whole different conversation that I'll talk about a different time. But that was really my entry into Oola, and really seeing that using the framework that you can really apply to anything, whether it's weight loss, or it's work, or it's a relationship, or it's having fun, or no matter what it is, you can apply it to literally every single area of your life. And the other thing that I think is really cool about Dave and Troy is that they're always saying things like, everybody's designed with a purpose. You're perfect just the way you are. And those are things that I've always longed to hear, especially from men, because I didn't have that good role model growing up. My dad just didn't know better. He really did do the best he could. But it's nice for me, Dave and Troy have really been like the two first male role models, positive role models that I really had in my life. And now I want to help everybody, but I do have a special place in my heart for helping other men with that, because I feel like as guys, that sometimes it can be hard. Because I think society places a lot of expectations on us, and I think it's harder for men to ask for help. I think we're a little bit more stubborn. I think we feel like we have to have it all figured out. And I think a lot of it's based upon us accidentally by the way we're raised, by societal norms and things like that. And so I definitely would, encourage, especially the dudes out there, the guys, if you don't know anything about Oola, talk to your coach, talk to somebody, because it can make a difference to everybody. It's not just for women, it's not just for men, it's for everybody. But I think as men, we can use the framework just to make ourselves even better and make the world a better place. So I feel like there's a lot of guys out there like me that are still healing stuff from our past, and just making our lives better for us and our family, or whoever's in our lives. So that's, sorry I rambled on a little bit, but that's really that's my Oola story, and I'm very grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the Oola community, the Oola coaches, and all the other Oola folks that are in 1B7 now. And it's definitely fun to be a part of something that we are helping to change the world. So thank you so much, and I'll turn it back to Kevin.
Thanks you so much, Rob and Colette. Those are awesome stories. What a transformation you guys have been through. And to think that a fortune teller started it for you, Colette. I had no idea. I never heard that story before.
You gotta be careful what she tells me next.
Yeah, exactly. But did she tell you that Rob was going to lose like 70 pounds?
Nope.
Did she tell you that? That's an amazing story. Rob will tell you another time. Well, Darla has something that she'd like to say tonight, so we're going to let Darla speak.
This is just spontaneous because I love you guys. For one, I had never heard that story from you, Colette, either, but probably about 6 months ago, I had an intuitive, maybe, Rob, help me out, an intuitive speak to me just in passing, and she told me, you have another business, right? And I said, yes. She said, your business is going to take off like crazy. At least in 1 year, it's going to just be more than you can ever imagine. And I said, okay. And then I know. And then when I listened to Rob's story, by the way, Rob, we love you. And Nico is in the background, you guys, if you don't realize. She has a beautiful bird. And Rob doesn't even hear it, but we're all hearing it. My dog had to climb in my lap a few minutes ago. So we all have pets. I get it. It's so adorable. I just love it. Anyways, so when Rob's talking and Colette's talking, I'm like, I was there too. I was at the Barnes and Noble. We were at the Barnes and Noble with the
Isn't
Ula
that
guys
funny?
in Scottsdale. We were at a convention. We were at the convention when the Ula guys were in a different room or by their bus. And so I'm just like, and we were at
All these
Ulapalooza, but we didn't know Rob yet. So we've been passing each other, right? So how many people know about Ula right now? And how many of us have crossed paths, but we haven't really connected until now? Isn't it so cool, you guys?
Mhm.
And now, just like 1 in 5 people or 1 in 7 people know Facebook around the whole world, and 1 in 7 people know Google around the world, and 1 in 7 people know iPhone around the world, you guys, 1 in 7 people are going to know Ula around the world.
Mhm.
Right? Right?
That's right.
It's going to be that
They don't
big.
yet, but if we keep printing enough of these brochures, boy, I'll tell you what, they're going to know who these guys are.
I get the chills, but I just think about you guys. We're all like, we were there. We've been in the same places, you guys. It's so cool. So cool. Anyway, that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Darla. Anybody else have anything they'd like to say tonight before we sign off?
Anybody else talk to the psychic or
Yeah.
No.
Well, and it was
next. What are we doing next? 'Cause now-
It was in the very beginning too when I reached out and I didn't realize how close Gina was, and then Gina reached out to you guys. So like half of us were literally within 5 miles apart from each other.
Right.
So yeah,
So
it's
cool.
really cool.
Well, and I actually connected with Rob. I was probably at all of those conventions that you guys went to in Salt Lake City. And I connected with Rob at the guys event in Minnesota. And in fact, it was Rob that I reached out to. I knew that he was certified. And before I jumped on board, I actually reached out to him just privately and said, you know, what can you tell me about this? And I didn't even realize that he was in Arizona. Like, it's just, you know, it's just everything happens for a reason. And, you know, I know that we all believe that we're living in our own purpose right now, and how, you know, special that is. Actually, I think, isn't it 7 degrees of separation? Somebody just said they're 9 degrees. I think it's 7 degrees of separation.
Should be an Ula.
7. 7, right?
7.
Gina told us last week about what 7 means in so many ways, right? So yeah, it's pretty cool how it all comes together and how you connect with people, and just even that we're all here together, sharing this and sharing ULA with people on our Live Differently page, and how excited we all are to do that, because we know that it changes lives. It's changed our lives, and we've watched it change other lives. And I love hearing the stories. I love the psychic story. That's great.
I haven't never shared that part. I thought I had.
No.
Oh,
But I
boy.
do,
part.
Details.
I do think it's cool that we were almost all of us were at that Ignite event, that my first one,
Mhm.
that I heard the guys for the first time. So yeah, it's just so crazy how our paths have crossed.
Mhm.
It is.
It's meant to be.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, Gina, do you have anything you'd like to talk about? Anybody else?
Weird. I always have something to talk about. Hey, if you guys saw my post about on Sunday, I'm gonna interview this girl Maddie that wrote this book. She's one of my friends that I've known for a long time. She's only 19 years old and she wrote this book, and I finished it today, and I'm telling you what, this book is amazing. It for people that have young girls, it's such a good story, but it's also a good story. Like for me, I was like, wow, it talks about comparison and friendship and so many different things that I'm reading. I'm like, oh, this book is so Ula. But I'm excited. I'm going to interview her on Sunday. So if you guys have a chance to jump on and listen to her story, so good. Such a wise young lady. And I'm really excited to have her on the page with us.
Young girls, as in how young would you say? Like teenage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
12, 11, 12, 13, any age, honestly. Her story is so good. I was reading it thinking, oh my God, I remember those years. And and still to this day, I struggle with the comparison game and friendships, and really, really, really good. So
Cool.
You're going to broadcast that on Living Differently on Purpose. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be right here in our Facebook group. All right, well, we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week with a couple more stories. Can't tell you who yet. It's a surprise. But be sure and join us next Wednesday night, and we'll have a couple more ULA stories for you. Till then, take care, and
We love you. Be grateful.
Be grateful. Have faith.
Faith, get your OolaLife.
Come and
Go get your OolaLife.
We got to get
That's
better
right.
coordinated on that.
thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Good night.